Hi guys, welcome back to another Mindful Motherhood Monday. Today I want to talk to you about analysing the way that we are communicating with our children and expecting them to understand us, and seeing whether or not we are expecting too much of them, too little of them, or whether we just need a change in mindset. So I hope you guys find today's video interesting. If you do like it, don't forget to share it with your friends and give it a thumbs up so that I know you guys are enjoying these videos. I post Mindful Motherhood videos every Monday at 7 p.m. and these videos are all about returning to the present moment and intentionally thinking about parenting. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you're new, I hope you join me every Monday at 7 p.m. for a new video. And now let's get straight on with the video. So a huge part of understanding your child is understanding yourself first. And I don't mean that in a deep existential way, I mean it in the simplest way possible. When you become a mum, there's a little bit of an adjustment that needs to be made within yourself so that you can learn how to live this new way of living, how to cope with different situations. Because think about it, before being parents, as young adults, we have been building our portfolio of beliefs, of the way that we deal with conflicts, confrontation, what we think is acceptable, what's not acceptable, what's reasonable, what's not reasonable. And we have all this belief communication system within us that's ready to deal with situations that come into our lives. So overnight, you become a parent, you give birth and then you have a baby, and you've got to deal with lots of things that come with a baby in a way that you've never dealt with before. So we use the same standards and the same definitions to deal with situations as and when they come as a parent. The problem is that these situations have now completely changed. The little people that we're trying to deal with, to reason with, are not yet fully capable of understanding logic, emotions, reasonableness, kindness, all these things that we grow to expect from other people that we interact with in our lives. So going from being an adult who deals with adults and has reasonable ideas, reasonable conversations, to then overnight being an adult who deals with babies and children is a huge shock, because it doesn't happen as a flip switch. So we have all these clever ideas and sophisticated ways in which we're going to cope with that situation, and how we're going to deal with this, and how we're going to tell the child that that's wrong because of this, that and that, and it all makes sense in our mind. But a lot of the times these situations can't be dealt with in any case. So we are already starting on the wrong foot. For example, most of the times you won't be able to avoid your child spilling a cup of water, especially if they are very young. What you can do is either just about catch it at the very last minute or mop it up. But the learning process is going to be there. They're going to spill hundreds of cups of water before they learn not to spill the cup of water. So in my case, that's when I feel a bit out of control and a little bit frustrated, is when I know that I'm communicating my thoughts and my ideas very clearly and logically, but the recipient, i.e. my children, are just not getting it. And that's when you have to adjust your way of speaking and thinking. And remember, you're not dealing with fully grown adults who are able to understand you clearly. I realized that I have actually been using quite a lot of adult logic and speech with them and expecting them to understand that. Perhaps that's what's missing in the communication. That's what's causing the frustration between us and them, and causing that kind of misunderstanding between parent and child. And I don't know about you, I don't know what your background is, but my background is not in childcare. I've never worked with children before. I am a qualified lawyer, so I'm used to dealing with like clever ideas and complex thoughts and sociology, philosophy and things like that. And unintentionally, that carries through my speech with everyone, including my children. And what I've got to keep reminding myself is that they are not fully grown adults yet. What might seem logical to me is no more than just words coming out of my mouth to them. So being mindful of that has made me adapt the way that I speak a lot more to my children and adjust things in order to just get that communication flowing. For example, if I ask my son when he comes home from school, how was school? I'll get good if I'm lucky. And then if I start asking things like, what did you do? It's really hard to get an answer, and I've started to adapt that speech to things like, did you play with animals? Did you go outside? What color pencils did you use? How many horns did that dinosaur have? Things that they will understand and that will help me get a better picture when I'm not getting the answer that I would get if I asked anyone, like any adult, what did you do today? I'd probably get a picture quite quickly, but with a child you don't get that full picture. So that's how I've been mindful of adapting my speech in order to match with what my children are trying to tell me. I have 4 things that helped me with adapting my speech and the way that I speak to my children in order to make them understand me a little bit better and for me to understand them, and I'm going to share those with you. So the first thing that helped me is accepting that I am not going to be always in control of a situation. And the way that that's helped me, it takes the pressure off my shoulders. So when there's a situation at home like a tantrum or something that's really stressful and something that I feel like I can't control, just accepting that I cannot control 2 strong-willed toddlers takes the pressure off me, and it makes me feel like I can then talk to them on their level instead of being up here on the mummy level who is going to tell you off for having a tantrum. I go down to their level and I try and kind of understand the tantrum. Obviously it depends on the situation, but if it is something that I can understand, then putting myself in on that level and knowing that I can't control their strong-willed, I can't control that tantrum at the moment, let me just try and understand it. So that's the first thing that's helped me. The second thing that's helped me was to modify my expectations. So because Christmas is coming, I don't know about you, but I'm getting about 10 million questions a day on whether or not it's Christmas yet. Even though I say Christmas is in December and it's November, 2 seconds later I'm being asked, is it December yet? Is it Christmas yet? Is Father Christmas coming tomorrow? And modifying my expectations of what they can actually clearly understand from me has helped so much to take the pressure off. Instead of getting annoyed that I have already answered that question, I am now kind of trying to come up with different ways in which I can say the same thing, because saying the same thing over and over again is boring for me. So I'm trying to adjust and think, how can I say that differently but say the same thing? So that's all about modifying my expectations of them understanding me. Third thing that's helped me is the most important thing, is adjusting my language and making it a lot less complex and making all my words quite simple. My thought process is quite easy to understand. So instead of saying things like, tomorrow you're going to school, I will say, when you go to sleep and you wake up, you'll go to school, because that seems much more logical to my children. And the fourth thing that's helped me is to put myself in their position. Would I like being bossed around all day and being told what to do all the time and being told that whatever toy I choose is the wrong one? And just by doing that, I feel like I tell them off a lot less, and I kind of take a step back over things that I would normally say, no, that's not correct, that's not right, because my adult brain is telling me that that's not right. So now I would love to hear your opinions and your thoughts on this subject. How do you feel like you communicate with your children? Do you catch yourself using like adult language and sophisticated concepts with your children and then find yourself getting frustrated with them when they don't understand you properly? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys are having a lovely day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!